what you don't know. You don't know whether or not you can go through things unless you personally experience those things. And so I know there's probably some people on this line here today that have served, that have gone above and beyond so that we can do what we do. And I just want to take the time to thank each of you on this Memorial Day. And if you had any family members that have given their lives, I especially want to thank each of you for the service that they and the sacrifice that they've given to this great country. So thank you very much. Happy Memorial Day. If there's such a thing as a happy Memorial Day, it's a unique time. It's a very unique time in our country's history, what we're all dealing with right now. And I've never experienced it in my life. I'm 60 years old. I can't even believe I'm saying that right now. But I've never experienced anything like this in my life. I know that for some of you, you've never experienced any of these things. But I have to tell you that what you're going through right now does not determine where you end up. What determines where you end up is who you listen to. And this is really important for you to grasp, because you can listen to all the different narratives that are going on in the world today, and there's a vast difference in all the narratives. I'm sure you would all agree. There's Republican narratives, there's Democratic narratives, there are independent narratives, there's religious narratives, there's atheist narratives. It all depends who you listen to is where you are going to end up. And the reason why I wanted to start this call off with that message is simply because the ACN narrative is pure. There are no lines drawn with the ACN narrative. See, I don't care what political party you espouse to be a part of. I don't care how you've grown up. I don't care your level of education. I don't care where you grew up, whether you're on the right side of the tracks, the wrong side of the tracks, where you grew up rich or poor, educated, uneducated, black, white, red, purple. None of that matters at ACN. The narrative at ACN says that if you want to be somebody, if you want to do something great, if you want to make your mark, if you don't want to live like everybody else has lived in your family line prior to you being alive, I want you to know this Memorial Day, you found a home. You found a home. You never have to look to the left. You never have to look to the right. You never got to look beyond. All that you have to do is listen to people that care about your success and are going to pour into you like the Mazers have been pouring into you for many, many years. And we've been pouring into them for many, many years. That's how this whole thing works. If you listen to the right narratives, there's a great chance that you'll be here to see something through, maybe for the very first time in your life. Now listen, there's a big difference between starting power and staying power. A lot of people can start, but very few people finish well. How many of you agree with that? Everybody can say they want to join a gym, and you can pay your fee, but how many people show up to do something about their physical situation and follow through with what they initiated for themselves? Can I tell you a secret? Maybe it's not so much a secret. If the gyms, if the membership of the gyms all showed up that joined the gym, there would not be enough room in the facility. So why wouldn't they build a gym as big as the membership dictates? Because they know what the ratios are. They know who's going to start and the percentage of people that are going to follow through. And they build the facility according to the size of the people that they know are going to follow through with their commitment. It's much smaller than the actual people that enroll in the gym program. And so there's two things that I want you to remember on this Memorial Day. Your end result will be determined by the narratives that you listen to and the personal commitment to following through for yourself and for your families. Without those two things, if you get the wrong narrative in your head, you're going to end up there. If you believe an atheist belief, there's a totally different result for your life than if you believe a belief where there's a God up there. What you believe will determine your end result. Who you listen to will determine your end result. Are you going to listen to people that some of you have in your life that have never done anything significant with their life about why you can't do anything significant? Or are you going to listen to people that want to pour into you, that want you to do something great for yourselves and for your families? You see, who you listen to determines where you end up. The culture and the environment that you plug into determines where you end up. See, why do we continue to do this after 27 plus years? You ever ask yourself that question? Why do the executives and the co-founders and some of the leaders that have been around for decades, why do we continue to do this? It's because we want to continue to provide the right narratives for the good people that want to do something great to be a part of. That's why we continue to do what we do. See, either you're going to believe the rhetoric, or you're going to believe, or you're going to listen to and make a decision to listen to people that want the best for you and your family. That's all that we want. And so even though there are no guarantees, even though I can't promise you success, the only thing that I can give you actually are two things. I can provide you hope and opportunity, which is the first thing. And I can provide an environment for every single one of you to plug into so that you can win. See, I am not responsible for what you do. Some of you are going to get done with this call here today. You're going to click and you're going to leave this Zoom. And none of what we say on today's call is going to matter to you. You're thinking about what you're barbecuing today. What are you going to do with the information that's been provided? Really, what are you going to do? If I were to ask every single one of you, how many of you would like the next 5 years to be better than the last 5 years? Every single one of you would raise your hand. Even me. I want my next 5 years to be much better than the last 5 years. But can I tell you something? You can't make the next 5 years better unless you stick it out and follow through with what you set out to do. You can't change unless you stay. If you revert back to what you're comfortable with doing, look, we all know the definition of insanity. It's no secret. So on this Memorial Day, how many of you want to look back on this Memorial Day and remember not just the fallen soldiers, but remember that this was a day that you finally made a decision to be sold out to the direction that you want to take your life? How many of you would like to have that happen? You want to look back at Memorial Day 2020, and here's what you said. That's it. I'm drawing the line. I'm not going back. I'm moving forward. I'm going to pay a price. I'm going to do more than I've ever done. I'm going to do more PBZs than I've ever done. See, as I look at this environment that we're in right now, dealing with this COVID-19, and I told myself I wasn't even going to say that term because I'm sick of hearing it, but I just said it. And this is the storm that we're all dealing with. But here's what I'm going to tell you is even though we're dealing with the same storm, at the end of the storm, a lot of us are not going to be in the same boat because of the decisions that we made during the storm that we're in. How many of you know the greatest stories happen from the biggest storms? If you look back at your life, in any activity that you did, I'm telling you, the stories that you tell today resulted from a storm that you were experiencing. Guaranteed. Some of the stories that you tell your kids and your grandkids are from the storms that you experienced and you overcame. This could be one of those storms. As I think about what's going on today, this is like the perfect storm for what we are now doing. Now look, I'm not telling you to take advantage of people at all. What I'm saying is people are home. They're quarantined. They have time. Are they going to listen to CNN or ACN? That's the question. What narrative do you want all these people to listen to? Can you get to them with these PBZs and accelerate the amount of PBZs that you have so that you can help frame the narrative that these people are going to listen to with the time that they now have? Or are you going to allow them to wallow in all the other narratives that are out there, and 5 years from now they are no better off, possibly even worse off than they are right now? So the challenge that I'm going to give every single one of you is this. I would increase the amount of PBZs that each of you have by a number of 10 this week. So those of you that said that you're going to do 7, how about do 17? Don't tell me you don't have the time. You have the time. Don't tell me you don't have the contacts. You have the contacts. And listen, during this window of time that everybody's home, we have a captive audience. How about just doing a Zoom call just to check up on somebody? And you say, hey, how you doing? What have you been up to during this quarantine? And just start a conversation. How many conversations can you start this week? You know what the response is going to be for the majority of people that you just connect with. They're going to say they've lost a little bit of hope. They're worried about their 401ks. The stock market's not so good. They're worried about the future of their employment. Some of them have been furloughed. Some of them have been laid off. Some of them don't have the discretionary income that they used to have. And now you can just soft shoe an invite to those people and say, listen, I don't know if this would have any interest to you at all, but I happen to be a part of a company on a part-time basis where we can do business from the comfort of our homes and we can get paid off of bills that people are spending money on anyway. Can you give me 20 minutes of your time to get on a Zoom call tomorrow? You know what most good people would say? Absolutely, I can give you 20 minutes. Why? Because they know they have 3 hours. Everybody has time today. So we're in a competition with people's time, folks. It's either going to be CNN or ACN. And if we can increase the number of PBZs, and you can, with a focused effort. As I think about some of the things that our story versus the stories that are out in the real world today, we truly have something that is spectacular for the majority of people so that they can augment their income. They can create discretionary income for themselves and for their families without, and they can have a plan B started during the storm so that when the next storm hits, and it will, you know that it will, they can be better prepared to weather the next storm than they are this storm. It will be dependent upon how many people we talk to. Now listen, I know that I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know. The question is, why aren't some of you doing it? Why are you continuing to do what you've always done in the manner that you've always done it? See, if you accelerate, if you go beyond, I often think about this concept of a little bit more, just a little bit more. In fact, I many years ago, I wanted to write a book with that title, A Little Bit More, because I know that if you do just a little bit more than you've ever done, or a little bit more than everybody else is doing, there's a great chance that you'll accelerate your progress and you'll stand out and you will get noticed. And as you get noticed, more people get attracted to you because you're standing out from the crowd. A little bit more, just a little bit. If we were to use 12% of our brain instead of 10% of our brain, what would that be? That's a 20% increase in productivity, a 20% increase in momentum, a 20% increase in the amount of people that we're seeing. What could that mean for you and your family over the next 5 years? I don't know. I don't know what it would mean. All I know is it would be a little bit more. If you create a little bit more today, a little bit more tomorrow, a little bit more the next day, a little bit more 7 days from now, a little bit more 30 days from now, what could that mean? A little bit more of something positive, a little bit more of the right narratives to listen to, a little bit more of the right coaching, a little bit more of the right influence. What would that mean for you? A little bit more of following through to the end. What would that mean for you and your family? The story that ACN has today is phenomenal. And it's getting better. In fact, this week, we're going to have an all IBO call. It's going to be taking place on Tuesday, and we're going to have it. We're going to have an IBO launch for AT&T Wireless. It's getting better. It's going to get better. Every single thing that we're doing is to make your opportunity better. Do you think that the majority of people out there are hearing that narrative come into their ears? No. You know what they're hearing? Layoffs, furloughs, unemployment. I went to a restaurant for the very first time in a couple months just the other night. My server was wearing a mask. And I asked her, I said, how have you been over the last couple months? And she says, it's been devastating. Think about those people. You know, in America, waiters and servers, they rely on tips because they don't get paid any money from the establishment. I shouldn't say any money. They get paid very little money. So if there's no customers, there's no tips. If there's no tips, there's no revenue. If there's no revenue, they can't pay their bills. So this lady came back after 2 months of not having anybody in the restaurant, serving us with a mask. And she was telling us a story, and I said, do you think that this is going to be the only storm that you're ever going to go through in your life? And she said, absolutely not. She goes, I've learned such a valuable lesson. I said, what lesson did you learn? She says, don't just rely on what you are now doing. You have to have something in the works so that the next storm could be a little bit better. You have to store up in the winter. Store up in the harvest so you can have food in the winter. That's the lesson that we've learned. And as I think about the ACN opportunity, I think about the narrative that we can give and the story that we have for people. Sometimes I believe some of you forget on the beauty of our company, on the beauty of what we're offering. See, we talk about it. We do presentations on it. We talk about getting paid on bills that people need, want, and use every day. We talk about creating a revenue stream and getting a piece of the payments that people are making on their phone bill and their energy bills and all the other services that we provide. Do you listen? Just do me a favor. Just take a deep breath right now. Do you know how beautiful of a formula that is? Do you really realize how wonderful it is to get paid off of people's bills and we don't have to ask them to spend any more money? Do you know how wonderful it is to get paid a residual income off of those bills and having that residual come into your household every single month, where you can start checking off a bill or two when your residuals start to increase, especially with the compensation plan modifications that we made January 6th of this year, where we 16 times people's residual incomes by going from a 0.25% to a 4% overriding residual income. Is that unbelievable? That was right before all of this pandemic hit. And now we have a $199 entrance fee and $25 a month versus $499. A lot more affordable for people to start a plan B. And all that we have to do is be proactive and talk to many more people than we have ever been. I'm telling you, there's a race. And here's the race. Who is going to get to these people first? See, I'm going to make a statement to you, and you'll be able to finish the statement. I know you will. Here it is. If you don't talk to these people, somebody else is going to. If you don't talk to the people on your list, somebody else is going to talk to them. So why not it be you? If you're in the business of getting IBOs that are going to get customers, why would you not want that IBO that's going to get customers on your team versus somebody else? You are one decision away and a lot of activity away from doing something great. So here are the questions that I want you to answer for yourselves. Here they are. Who are you listening to? What are you going to do every single day? And maybe for the very first time in your lives, are you going to finish at ACN? If you can answer those three things with a positive response, great things are in store for you. If you can't answer those three things with a positive response, if you have a question about the answers to any one of those questions, I can look every single one of you in the eye, and I wish you were right across from my desk from me right now, but I'll get as close to the camera as I can right now, and I'll look you in the eye, and I'm going to tell you this, that you will not be here 5 years from now. You just won't. Because life will get in the way, a hardship will get in the way, that will give you an excuse to quit, and you won't be here. And all this will just be a decent memory to be around some good people. How many of you want ACN to be a lot more than that? Yeah, I want it to be a lot more for you as well. I want you to become a senior vice president like the Mazers are senior vice presidents. I want you to live a great life. I want you to have a residual income stream. That's why we continue to do what we do. I can give you everything that it takes to win. The only thing we can't do is do it for you. So you got to listen to the right people. You got to be proactive with your activity, and you got to finish well. And I'm telling you, if you do those three things, it'll be an amazing experience for you to look back 5 years from now on this Memorial Day of 2020, and you'll be able to remember, because of the decision that you made and the activity that you exerted, that something great has happened for you and your family, and you'll be grateful. I wake up grateful every single day because of ACN. Without question, every single day. Now, is every single day a positive day? No. There are some days a pain in the butt? Absolutely. But I'm grateful. You know why? Because those pain in the butt days are some storms, some little storms. What did I tell you? Some of the greatest stories come out of the biggest storms. Yes? I'm grateful for the storms. I learned from the storms. I'm better because of the storms. The same thing will happen for you. You just have to make a decision for yourself that you're going to follow through, maybe for the very first time in your lives, that you're going to follow through with what you set out to do. The people that finish well are the people that are at the top levels of anything that they're doing. Those are the people that we read about, are the people that finish well. I want you to be one of those people. So Mike and Pat, I'm going to give this call back to you guys. God bless everybody on this line. Happy Memorial Day. It's been good to see your beautiful faces. I can't wait for the day we were all together and I can shake your hand, give you a hug, and tell you how much I believe in you personally. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you so much, Greg. We are so honored to have you on the call here. There's over 300 individuals on here that are looking forward to having a breakout close to the month. I love the words that you gave all of us. And I just want to let you know, since the beginning of the year, Harsh Patel hit Regional Vice President, Ken and Susie Potter hit Regional Vice President, Rick and Mara Cordero hit Regional Vice President, Noah and Casey Brandy hit Regional Vice President, and many more are going to follow. So get ready for that national, because we're going to be parading a lot of success stories across that stage to shake your hand, Mr. Provenzano.
It's going to be wild. It's going to be a wild event. Can't wait to see you guys.
Awesome. Let's give Greg Provenzano a virtual round of applause, everybody. Let's let him know how much we appreciate him being on here this Memorial Day and getting us started for our Leadership Day, which we know we're going to 10X. I love the compassion calls, Greg. I love that concept of, these are compassion calls. What I see us doing today now, we're not phoning people up. We're giving them compassion calls. We're seeing how they are. We're taking their temperature, and we're providing them hope and an opportunity because of the 4 individuals that own ACN. So again, thank you on behalf of the entire team around the world. We just want to, again, thank you for being on here this morning. And I promise this team will not disappoint. We've got some amazing leaders on here and many promotions today. We got lots and lots of people that win ETL over the last handful of days, and we're going to start to recognize them now. So if you're a new ETL, you just hit ETL, and you want to be recognized on here, I know, Cornell, you have somebody you wanted to recognize.